Welcome back. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. So, I wanted to talk a bit about something that I was not aware of in regards to Trump. Back in the 70s, it appears that Trump was accused of rejecting Black applicants from being able to rent in Trump housing. So, I'm getting this from congress.gov, and the article is titled, it's from US News, and it's titled Not Wanted, Black Applicants Rejected for Trump Housing, and the applicant speaks out. So litigation sparked by discrimination allegations stretch into the mid 1980s. Let's see here. So this is by Cynthia McFadden, Anna Schechter, and Hannah Rapalai. In 1973, New York City school teacher Annette Gandy Fort was looking for a decent place to live. A listing for an apartment in a building owned by Donald Trump's father, Fred, caught her eye, but she says the super told her there were no units available. I was Black, Fort said recently. I was not wanted. It wasn't just a gut feeling. After Fort was turned away from the Queens apartment building twice, the New York City Human Rights Commission sent a white person to the property to apply for an apartment. And I love that. I love that they went undercover. Okay, I love that. And the tester was offered the apartment, according to court papers. The commission took on Fort's case, and she says a young Donald Trump appeared with a lawyer at a hearing on behalf of the family real estate company, Trump Management. Now, honestly, right there, it says it. So the dad was the one who, started this, obviously, and a young Donald Trump, he was a part of the business by association, but I wouldn't say that Donald Trump is the one that created this. Donald Trump is a part of it, I guess I would say guilty by association. But a lot of people are putting Trump on it. So does he come from a family who was accused of doing this? Yes. Is this his, is this something of his doing? Let's read on to see, what Donald Trump did to kind of correct this. So it says here, her case also became part of a federal racial discrimination lawsuit filed by the Justice Department against Donald and Fred Trump that was resolved with a consent decree 2 years later, in which they agreed to terms aimed at preventing discrimination. The lawsuit is the basis of a new video from Hillary Clinton's campaign released Tuesday. So this had to have been this article was probably from a few years ago when Hillary was running. The video, which features a tearful interview with a retired nurse who says she was denied an apartment, notes that while the racial discrimination allegations began when Fred Trump was running the company, they persisted after his son became president of the firm. So she's confirming that Donald Trump, even though, he was not the head of the firm at the time, they persisted when he became head of the firm, president of the firm, sorry. So that means that he continued this behavior thereafter. Trump denies the company discriminated against Blacks. There is absolutely no merit to the allegations, his spokeswoman, Hope Hicks, said in an email to NBC News. This suit was brought as part of a nationwide inquiry against a number of companies, and the matter was ultimately settled without any finding of liability and without any admission of wrongdoing whatsoever. And I find it so unfortunate when people do that, when claims of racism are dismissed like that, as if, Black people don't matter, or as if, it's something small or something minor, when it affects that person, it affects, their way of living, it affects them just the same way as probably if Donald Trump did not, maybe he was forced to continue the behavior as part of, being accepted by his father. And, maybe he would have lost his livelihood as a result. So I think, that's the thing, that people lack empathy for Blacks sometimes, in that sense that, hey, a lot of these things, these little microaggressions are affecting their livelihood. And so this is why, I think having a commune of our own and some sort of unity amongst ourselves is important. It is necessary. So let's see. Clinton has brought up the discrimination case before, saying during a debate last month that Trump started his real estate career by getting sued for refusing housing to blacks. In response, Trump portrayed the litigation as no big deal and said dispensing with the suit without admitting wrongdoing was very easy to do. And again, I don't like the dismissive nature of it because it's not taking accountability and it doesn't correct anything for the generation of black folks after Miss Ford. Okay, I lost my page. Okay. Court documents, however, show that putting the allegations behind him was tougher than the candidate suggests. 3 years after the consent decree, the Justice Department went back to court to say the Trumps were not complying with the settlement. The claim was not resolved before the decree expired. Then in 1982, Trump management and 8 other New York City landlords were hit with a class action discrimination lawsuit by a housing advocacy group. 2 years later, they settled by agreeing to rent one of every 4 vacant apartments in some neighborhoods to blacks, according to a New York Times account from the time. And I think that's sad that there has to actually be some sort of like data, some sort of percentage that, hey, just to meet this quota, we'll make sure to rent out to some blacks sometime. And since it is that way, maybe as a black person, you have to really have, a stellar history in order to get in even then. So this is crazy. Let's see here. Then in 1982, Trump management and 8 other New York City landlords were hit with the class action discrimination suit. Okay, I read that already. Okay, so the breadth of the allegations doesn't surprise Maxine Brown, who applied for an apartment in a Queens building owned by Fred Trump in 1963. I was turned away because of my color, said Brown, 86, whose account was first reported by the New York Times in August. And I also want to say that I think also another portion of this is black people should start to invest in each other and in ourselves so that we're not going into places where we're not wanted and begging to be there. Because it's just like, I don't know, kind of building up our own so that we don't have to deal with things like that. I think that's important. Brown's application was taken by rental agent Stanley Lebowitz, who said there's no doubt Brown didn't get the apartment because she's black, and no doubt that Donald Trump, then just 17, oh my God, he knew that. Mr. Trump and his son Donald came into the office. I asked what I should do with this application because she's calling constantly, and his response to me was, "You know I don't rent to the N-word." Oh my God. Put it in a drawer and forget about it. Forget about it. I can't talk. Okay, Lebowitz, 89, told NBC News, Donald Trump was right alongside his father when I was instructed to do that. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Oh, so this guy is actually a white guy, and he basically blew the top off of this. So I want to say, a big shout out to those white people who are basically allies to black people. They do things like this every now and then. I've experienced it where my white brother or sister have helped me in some way, shape, or form when I'm experiencing or I have experienced an unfortunate, situation, just because I'm black. So let's see here. Brown also filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission and was offered an apartment after the hearing. She still lives there. Ford, I don't even know why she would want to live there after going through all of that. Ford also took an apartment in a Trump building as a settlement. Oh, so they live there for free probably. I wasn't interested in suing Trump. I wasn't interested in getting money. What I wanted was a place to live, she said. And I think that's, to me, is a problem. I think that pursuing the lawsuit and going forward with stating, everything that was done to you is important, because how else would they learn? Sometimes even when they go to court, Just like how the suit said, they had to revisit this situation because they still were not following the orders of the first case. So I think being sued, having to pay out money, is a way to kind of bill somebody or discipline someone into doing the right thing that they're supposed to do, or continue to get billed. Sorry, my dog. Continue to get billed until maybe they go out of business. It's important that that's done, if they're treating people unfairly. Okay, so Fort, now 72, has kept the papers from her case for more than 40 years, but said she would not have spoken up about her experience if Donald Trump hadn't brushed off the allegations that resurfaced during his presidential run. I think it's important that history not be erased. Okay. So that's interesting. What do you guys think about that? It sounds like, if Donald Trump was 17 back then, it sounds like those thoughts, these behaviors, and the way he looks at things is deep rooted within him because it's taught to him by his father, Fred. So what do you guys think? Does this make him a racist? Do you think people change and now he's, reformed in some way? Comment down below.